Hello and welcome to episode 25 of Talking with Tanya. Woo! Was not expecting that much stars. Anyways, I made a mess. Okay, this episode is a special one for me. I don't have the exact statistics, but I know I've passed the point where many new podcasters quit. Making it this far has been a journey full of lessons, growth, and surprises. And I feel like it's important to celebrate your wins, no matter how big or how small. It helps you to keep going. I'm not the same person I was when I first started. I was in a long-term relationship, living in a different state, and the direction of my content has shifted since then. The future I imagined for myself back then is gone. No mas. And that's okay. Today I want to take you through everything I learned from the beginning until now, from the fears I faced and the triumphs I've celebrated, including today. Yay. Okay, well, let's start off in the beginning. When I first started podcasting, it felt like I was just another one of my ideas. I feel like I've tried many new different paths and I never really stuck with it. So I thought this might be potentially be another thing that I just quit along the way, but I wasn't scared to try. I just ended up wanting to go for it anyways. And over time, as I faced obstacles and challenges, I began to ask myself the important questions like, is this worth the risk, the time and energy? Can I see myself doing this long term? And if my intuition said no, I learned to trust that and move on, carrying the wisdom of that experience with me. So that process of trying many different paths helped me identify what truly aligns with my values, goals, and like my must-haves, to kind of check the boxes to see if this is something that will ultimately, fulfill me. And finally, I was searching for a path that would let me be myself and use my creativity freely. I feel like I am just so full of ideas sometimes, and I'm just like, I can't just work a normal 9 to 5 expecting just to suppress these ideas and this creativity and imagination. So I had to find something that I could use my abilities, that I could use my abilities to help me. Some of the things I learned about myself that made me think podcasting would be such a good fit would be, well, for one, I thrive when I can steer a creative project. When I see progress and I feel momentum. Like there's been times where, well, even small creative projects, where it be art projects, when I see my ideas come to life, there's nothing that feels better than that. I can feel the momentum because like the more and more work I'm putting into something and the more that it grows and it's coming to life, it like really excites me. It wants me to keep going. So there's that. And then I also love exploring new ideas, perspectives, and subjects, especially when it connects to something meaningful. There's so many times where I've like changed my perspective and it really did good for me. Like it helped me for the better. And so that's why I'm always searching for new ideas, perspectives, and subjects because I just love learning. I will forever be a student of life. And it made me realize like I don't have to sit, pout, and complain about a challenge I'm facing. I could just shift my perspective, learn from it, and move forward. So I feel like podcasting really helped me to develop this mindset of always identifying my fears, articulating them, and transforming them into something valuable by sharing my experiences. So this mindset that I started developing is that I started to learn a pattern within my fears. When it came to my challenges, when I was going through them and experiencing the challenge, like in the present moment, I would feel stuck. I start feeling down and I'm like defeated. I don't know what to do or where to go. And the second I started to identify that challenge as a challenge, like this is something that I can potentially learn from, right? So I detached my emotions from it. I no longer wanted to feel negatively about it. I'm going to approach it as like, what am I supposed to learn from this, right? I started to go into this optimistic mindset and problem solving, like what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Your emotions are tools your soul uses to help you learn how you feel about the experience. So that's why you start to feel like a challenge because you're uncomfortable. But we grow when we're uncomfortable. And your intuition is formed by trusting that guidance of your emotions and leading with them. So now that you identify as a challenge, like problem solve, what can I do about it and how can I move forward, right? I realized another thing is I realized I love to entertain. Being goofy, expressive, enthusiastic comes naturally here. And it's one of the few spaces that I feel like I've created where I can really be my full self without limitations. I do have friends I love being around and family members, but I feel like I can't express myself to this full extent. It's like a lot of ideas, a lot of information, and I feel like I'm not always given the opportunity to express myself in that way. But then again, it's like I understand, it's a lot. I feel like all these insights and perspectives, are meant for a certain group of people as well. So I'm kind of like trying to create the audience willing to, take this in and listen. I love understanding why people think the way they do. I feel like I've come to a point where I'm easily able to contain my emotions and kind of see things from an objective point of view without involving my emotions to it. So even when I feel like things could be, taken personally or as a personal attack, negativity, I'm always trying to see like past that and be like, I feel like I'm such a genuine, non-judgmental, like accepting, open-minded person. So I always think like sometimes with people, like it can't be me, like what is it about you that's resisting my openness? If I were to come into someone I feel like I have tension with, so I try to learn in that way. I'm like, why do you think the way you do? Like, where do you come from? What's your story? But at the same time, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. That's something I have to learn to accept. It is what it is. But at the same time, I'm always going to be here and I'm always going to be open to hearing you out. Another thing is I enjoy uplifting others. I'm the friend that thinks that you could do anything you put your mind to. Believe in yourself. I love helping people find their strengths, right? Like if you tell me you have an idea, I support it full on. You know why? Because if you explore yourself, you're going to find something about yourself and you're going to end up learning more about yourself and your path, your purpose, and your mission in this life. So I'm always like really trying just to uplift others because like why there's so much negativity in this world, why add on to it, and what does criticism and negativity do? Like how does that help? That's how I see it, at least. There's one show that I love called Ted Lasso. Oh my gosh, she literally inspires me. It's like the type of person I aspire to be, just someone who's always like, you can do this. You can do it. And oh my gosh, there's stars everywhere. And so that's like I really recommend that show. Love him. He's so great. Like even he like has such a positive, optimistic attitude in the face of adversity and people and just like his team because he's a coach and it's just a beautiful show that I really resonate with. Anyways, I've also learned I could work best on my own terms and I have leadership skills to push through challenges. So I am capable of. So what is a leader? A leader is someone who's like hoping to change people for the better, right? Make things more smooth, add structure, problem solve, work well under pressure, just like generate ideas. And I think I have those qualities. And I really, and when they work well under pressures, because I feel like they have such of a objective perspective. They like to see, they got to see the full picture and see what's best for everyone. So I think I have those qualities. And I think I needed something to help me present those qualities because I couldn't really find a path that really like allowed me to present these qualities. So I think this is why it works well here. And I've always had strengths in introspection, emotional intelligence, and mentorship. I naturally want the best for people and I encourage them to be their best selves. So I feel like this is such like a great way to kind of put myself out there and try to push people to better themselves. It's something I found challenging that kind of pushed me to like move forward with this was that I've always tried to help other people around me, my closest loved ones, friends, and family, and I've always tried to push them to be their best versions. Face fears and follow your dreams and all that. But I feel like they weren't really always available to listen or didn't really want to or follow through, and which is understandable. Everybody has their own lives and their own things going on, and not everybody's ready to like want to conquer their fears or their challenges or follow their dreams. And so then I was like, maybe I need to create my own audience, someone who's people who are ready to engage, a community that resonates with my energy and my values and are ready to like, become better versions of themselves. Also, I needed to live by practice what I preached. I'm like here trying to push everybody to be themselves, and I feel like I wasn't really doing anything like tangible that kind of showed that I was, or like I didn't have results that kind of showed that I'm practicing what I'm preaching. So I felt like this was a good way to like kind of really show people like I'm all about what I'm saying by living by example. So when I finally started it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this account and I'm going to start writing ideas and start putting myself out there. My original niche or like focus was on health and wellness. Because at the time where I was at in my life, like I already felt like I had this like ideal future in my picture in my head that like it's just like what I need to worry about, I guess, at the time. And So my focus just became on health and wellness, just because that's who I am as a person. I love learning about ways to improve my health naturally. So I felt like, oh, this is perfect, because now I get to research something I already love looking into and just share with other people. So it was helping me as well as others as well. So I like to help improve my health through lifestyle changes, remedies, investing in my well-being. So some of my examples of my earlier videos were like, why the benefits of walking. Oh my gosh, and I love walking still to this day. I like, I try to reach 8,000 steps. It's kind of been difficult because like a lot's going on lately, but I still try and like walk when I can. And I recommend that video. Love walking. 10 out of 10 recommend. I made another video on cortisol, electrolytes, and how to prevent joint pain. It was just like whatever I was going through at life at the time, like I would just write about, like, or what I wanted to learn at the time. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I want to learn more, so I'm just gonna make a video on it. And when I started in the beginning, I was not the same person I am now. I had fears. I had worries about judgment, imperfection, and how people I know would see me. I was like scared what people were gonna think of me. I was like worried that I was gonna come off as weird, or like, like that's something hard to do. Like you're gonna put yourself out there like that, you're probably just gonna end up quitting. Like I just felt, and just like how I quit a bunch of other stuff, a lot of people already knew I was a quitter in other paths. So I felt like, oh my God, I don't know. I just felt like I was gonna get such harsh judgment. And what's funny, people, don't really share their harsh judgment. At least the people around you, they don't really share the harsh judgments with you. You keep that to themselves. So for all I know, I don't even know what people thought of me. If anything, they thought, oh, look at her go, keep going, good for you. But over time, I've learned to be compassionate and encouraging toward myself. Like, I matter. I need to be my biggest cheerleader. Who cares what people think? I care what I think, and I love myself, so I'm going to put myself out there. You're a great person. You deserve to be seen. I kept going even when it was scary. So eventually I realized if people form their opinions, oh well, let them form them. So then when I kept going, I'm like, they've been formed. There's nothing stopping me, I'm like, if they think what they think, oh well. So I shifted my focus from what was wrong with my content, because I used to like cringe at myself, and sometimes I still do, and be like, I don't know if I like this part of my episode. Oh, you couldn't really hear me well, or I don't like the way I worded that, and I don't like what I said there, or I could have said this. I'm just like, just constantly nitpicking myself and seeing what was wrong with my videos. And I was being my bully, and I needed to shift that into being compassionate towards myself. And instead I moved from having a bully mentality to, oh, you know what? Maybe I can just know to fix that the next time around, So I started to see how I could improve my content instead of like what was wrong with it. Okay, so then I got to the point where like fears are battled, victory is mine. I'm gonna keep going, right? And then so now that the hard part was over, I would just focus on making videos and another video and another video, and I'm just thinking, like, man, like, when is this supposed to pop off? When are things supposed to happen here? And I started to get hard on myself. I started to get impatient. This phase was not easy. I was getting a little restless at one point, and the restlessness started to set in. Growth was slow, followers barely trickled in, and external validation was minimal. I wanted to see that the work that I'm putting in and that the fears that I faced was worth it. I even considered quitting, at one point. But I guess I didn't really consider it. I just thought about it, and like just the thought itself was like, no, there's no way I can quit. There's just no way, because quitting felt heavier than continuing. I found joy in the creative process. Like I enjoy doing this. Whether I'm not really like bearing results from it, I really love doing this. And I realized I built a safe space for the small audience that I do have and myself. So it was a space where I could be authentically me, and I'm not ready to give this up. And then eventually I just kept going. I just kept pushing that. And I was like, whatever. I'm just going to keep doing me. And I started noticing major progress in my episodes, from the way I structured them to how I presented myself, the clarity and confidence in my voice. And that just felt really good to be able to see like a before and after. I also learned not to push myself too hard. Like quality matters more to me than quantity. And honoring my own rhythm became essential, because I felt like I had to fill in gaps and make long episodes to create value. And I just would watch back and think, I feel like I'm being a little too repetitive here. So now my focus shifted to, I don't care how long it is or how many episodes are coming out, how quickly they're coming out. I want to focus on the actual value I'm bringing. So I wanted to take my time, find my own rhythm and actually focus on the quality of my content. With work and life happening at the same time, I had to find a balance between creating and resting, and that balance made my content better. As I grew more comfortable, I found it easier to open up and express myself authentically. That freedom gave me the space to have fun with my episodes and explore creative ideas. I just like the fact that I could really feel comfortable, being myself on here. Most importantly, I finally allowed myself to identify as a podcast host. I used to get nervous telling people like, oh, this is what I do on the side. This is me, who I am. And I just felt like that's something that people, I guess, might make fun of me for or like see me in a different way. I also didn't want to come off as like, oh yeah, like I'm cool because I do this. Believe me, I don't think like that. And but now I see it as a part of who I am. I own it. I tell people I got 2 jobs because this feels like a second job. And it feels like a profession, something I'm genuinely proud of. So I'm not afraid to share this part of me anymore. So I just had to take a break right now. My light died, so I had to go ahead and plug it in, which is funny because I'm moving to the part of the episode where I was going to talk about obstacles. Some of the obstacles I faced were practical, time, energy, and technical issues. Upon technical issues, man, it's been a struggle. There's nothing more heartbreaking than recording a great episode only to have audio problems. Like, there's so many times where I've had to like do multiple takes on an episode, and it's kind of difficult to keep that sense of authenticity, like when you first share a story, it's like the energy shifts, like you telling it a second or a third time doesn't necessarily feel the same as the first. But to my surprise, the last takes of my episodes usually turn out way better than the first. And so, sometimes you just gotta shift your perspective and think everything happens for a reason. But there has been times where I've recorded what I think is a beautiful take of an episode, and I didn't want to have to redo it again, and I'm just gonna have to go with it, and it's like really muffled, and you can barely understand, and oh my gosh. It's a little heartbreaking, but what can you do? If anything, I've learned to try and ensure that my audio is grasped clearly, I've struggled with learning the placement of this mic. Is it up? Is it down? Is it to the left, to the right? And my hair always, every time it catches, it makes a noise. So it's definitely a learning curve. And each time I'm learning. I've also eventually want to get better equipment, to kind of avoid certain challenges or obstacles that I face. But that's okay. I'm trying to work with what I got, and hopefully this one comes out okay. Then sometimes there's like really long episodes that I decide to make for some whatever reason. My episodes range from like 20 minutes to 2 hours, which is kind of crazy. And usually the longer ones are because I have guests on my show sometimes, which are my friends. I'm always excited to have new people on. That was also like a challenge in itself, like especially the first few times, because I didn't really know how to structure it yet. I didn't know how to flow with other people yet, and but most of the time it's with people that I'm really comfortable with. So then we end up having something to talk about, which is okay. And long episodes taught me patience, because sometimes there's times where the longer the episode, the longer it takes to upload. There's been times where it takes up to 6 hours to upload an episode. And even then, there's times where it's almost done. It's like 5 hours in and it crashes or like disconnects from the internet, and I have to start it all over again. So it really tests me and my patience. There's been times where I stayed up late and go to bed, wake up a few hours, make sure it's still good, that it's not disconnected, that it's still uploading, and going back to sleep and waking up and trying to make sure that it's still going. Oh, it's been such a struggle, but it's okay. It's taught me perseverance. I'm not a quitter. I'm going to keep trying to post this episode until it posts. And if anything, these challenges taught me resilience, flexibility, and problem solving, skills that now feel like second nature. Like, I'm not afraid if it crashes. It's like it's almost expected. I'm not trying to like kind of put that energy out there either, but it's like I can handle it if it comes. I can handle it if it ends up happening again. Whatever. So now I want to move on to the lessons I've learned throughout this journey, right? I've discovered that vulnerability is a strength. So I've learned that I'm the type of person who's kind of like learned to not be so scared sharing my vulnerabilities, but it's something I have to learn to balance. That I shouldn't really just, trauma dump on everybody. But it's at the same time I'm trying to like build a connection right away, and I feel like that's the way to do it, because it's like if you know my struggles, where I've come from, my story, then you know who I am as a person. So that's why I'm like so eager to get there already. But I learned, to be patient, to like just kind of go with the flow and take my time. But I've also learned that it's a strength of mine, because I'm not afraid to like really express myself as much, I feel, as other people. So it's a strength. It's something that you definitely can develop. It's not something that I so easily done in the past. So that's why I say vulnerability is a strength of mine. It builds authentic connections and clarity in relationships. Like I said, you get to learn each other and know who you are as people. Another lesson I've learned is that perspective is powerful. Podcasting helped me grow into someone who can spot challenges without being controlled by them, and developing resilience, mindfulness, and wisdom. So whenever I encounter a challenge, I try to learn from it, and I'm like almost. I feel like because I'm a podcast host, I'm always trying to find content ideas through within my own life, and that sometimes requires me to like stay focused on where are my challenges, where am I facing obstacles, what kind of content can I create out of my life. So I'm like almost eager to like kind of spot new things, new ideas to kind of make content out of it. I've come to learn that growth requires consistency, patience, and self-compassion. So now I know, like, moving forward, that I'm gonna, this is gonna take time, effort, and not to be so hard on myself. So I feel like I've come a long way in that sense, that I just kind of being more myself now, and I'm not, being so self-critical. So another thing I learned is that joy and fulfillment come from creating something aligned with your heart, not external validation. So that's something I struggled with, because I felt like in order to feel like I was actually doing something, I needed the external validation. I needed the appraisal from people, and the follower count, and this and that and this and that. I don't know. And just people in my circle or loved ones to tell me that I'm doing a great job, but I don't get any of that. And to have to keep going despite not getting any of that is a challenge I learned to overcome. And it's something that I learned that I don't necessarily need, because I feel like if it's aligned with my values, my heart, and what I love to do, then that's enough in and of itself, so I don't need the external validation. Another thing I learned is that podcasting has taught me that my voice and my perspective and my energy have value, and I've learned to use them intentionally. So I used to downplay a lot of my thoughts and like my thinking, because I feel like how I think is very unique. And sometimes when you're like the only person to think this certain way, it can kind of put a damper in your confidence, and think like, why doesn't anybody else think this way? Why is it just me? So I kind of I played it at first and thought, maybe I'm just too much. That's the thing. That's the word for it. Maybe I'm just too much. Maybe, I need to think like everybody else, and stop being so optimistic, and what is it called? And I thought maybe I need to stop being so optimistic and introspective, and thinking and feeling too deeply, and thinking things too deeply. Like, so I thought, maybe, I don't know. And I used to think like being different was a bad thing. So I saw no value in it. But now that I've started embracing who I am as a person, and started realizing that I love how my energy has transformed, and I see how it affects other people, and how people want to have more of it. I'm just like, okay, well, if you want to be around me and be like me, I'm gonna like teach you how. Like, happiness is created from within. You don't need an outside object or experience or person to kind of help you feel this way. You can do it on your own. So this is why I feel I am capable and bring value to be able to share my insights and help you get to that place that I'm in. I mean, it's healing is a journey. I'm not saying I'm perfect either, but I've definitely come a long way. So reaching this milestone reminds me that creativity is a journey, not a destination. I've learned to embrace the process, the failures, the victories, and the quiet moments in between. I'm proud of what I've built. Like I've episode 25 is a long way. I'm so proud of myself. I've been doing this for 7 months already, so that's a long time. And I'm grateful for the community that's grown with me. You know, for the people who've been with me since day one. I'm so happy and grateful for you guys. Thank you for that. And I'm excited to see what happens next. You know, here's the next chapter, the next 25 episodes, and the continued journey of discovery, growth, and connection. I'm very proud of myself. I'm excited. And, you know, cheers to me, man. This is eggnog, by the way. Enough of the holidays. But so proud of my growth, so proud of how far I made it, and I can't wait to see what's next. Thank you guys for listening. Take care of yourself. Peace out.